The big win last night, and it's not, like I say, none of this is locked in, but he's up by something like 30,000 votes. We don't know what the total, or I should say, up by 61%. He's up by something like 30%. I have the numbers here somewhere, but we still have a ton of absentee ballots to look at, but it looks very good that Jamal Bowman unseated Elliot Engel. This is a race that has drawn probably the most amount of attention of all the primary races. There's a lot of aspects about this we'll talk about with Aaron, and maybe we'll also talk with Ellie as well, because you have just about everything happening here with this race. AOC endorsed, progressive endorsed up and down the line. You had multiple candidates in this race, multiple progressives in this race, who were all arguably viable. And Jamal Bowman got the endorsements of a lot of these sort of outside progressive groups early. And ultimately, the other candidates basically said, we need to take out Engel. I'm stepping aside. And that dynamic is really important, I think, because it indicates that there is a movement here, not just an array of different candidates. Here is Jamal Bowman last night giving what is everything but a victory speech, I guess. At the end of the night, the AP basically said, Bowman's way ahead. Engel would have to get something like 2-1 votes out of the absentee ballots to pull it out, which I think is unlikely. But here's Jamal Bowman last night, New York's 16th district.
Poverty is not a result of children and families who don't work hard. Our children and families work as hard as anyone else. Poverty is by political design, and it's rooted in a system that has been fractured and corrupt and rotten from its core from the inception of America, especially over the last several decades. So poverty and the impact of poverty on our children and dealing with issues of institutional racism and sexism and classism and xenophobia and everything that keeps the majority of us oppressed is what we designed this campaign to fight against. So tonight, as we celebrate, we don't just celebrate me as an individual. We celebrate this movement, a movement designed to push back against a system that's literally killing us. It's killing black and brown bodies disproportionately, but it's killing all of us. It's killing us mentally, psychologically, and spiritually. It's forcing us to live in a country and in a world where so many people are hopeless and have lost faith, not just in the political system, but in each other. But our movement is designed to restore that faith, to restore that hope, to bring back the belief in what is possible, to root our values in everything we do. Values of humanity, equality, and justice. Values that will center us fighting for those who are disenfranchised, for children with special needs, for our seniors, for women, for people of color, to rebuild an infrastructure as we go forward and a democracy that works for everyone.
Great stuff from Bowman there. And I think, you go back to the conversation we had with AOC on Friday of last week, the importance of blue districts like this one, having true progressives. There's going to be a lot of poo-pooing. This is only New York. You're only doing this in New York and California. Well, this is where it starts. This is it, but this is, and it's not just that we've picked up, assuming these vote tallies hold, that we've picked up one more progressive vote, which is true. But these things feed off each other. He's not just a vote. He is a strengthening of a coalition. And there's every reason to believe this is a guy who's going to be in office for some time. There was talk a year or two ago, the squad is in trouble. Maybe not a year or two, 6 to 8 months ago, the squad's in trouble. They're all facing primaries, and that hasn't worked out in the way that I think those people thought. And so this is a big win, and it's going to send reverberations. You're already seeing it across the board. We're going to talk about Chris Coons and his sort of almost non sequitur statement yesterday. This is all related. Watch Chuck Schumer. Watch Chuck Schumer now. I mean, just count down to how many statements he's going to come out where he's talking about being a progressive. I don't know that he's going to do anything, but they're going to be afraid, and they should be afraid.